Good morning, Earth. It's time to get up. Brand new day ahead. Let's make it count.
Good morning, Earth. It's time to wake up. It's your girl, Blue. Thank you for joining us today.
And it's me, Sky. Welcome back to another Cross Discussions, the show where we like to talk to other, well, not just podcasts, guess, any content creator. And we like to talk about strange and wonderful stories. So today we're going to go into a little bit of the Mothman. And if it could be an immortal entity that roams the earth like a cosmic sensual, like overseeing the earth. And we're going to go look into the evidence that says that maybe, this thing's been around for at least 3,000 years. You ready, Mike?
I am ready.
So today we are joined by Mike. Let us know who you are, where you're from.
Yep, as you said, my name is Mike. I am from the Game for a Movie podcast, where we ask, are you game for a movie? We are a bad movie podcast. Basically, we started with, we would play a game, and whoever lost had to watch a terrible movie. Lately, it has been just me since I've moved recently. But yeah, watching all kinds of bad movies, including some about Mothman.
Love bad movies.
That's actually really cool. I'm going to have to look into this.
One of my favorite movies won a Raspberry Award.
What was that?
What is the Raspberry Award?
What
movie?
What was the movie? Yeah.
It's a movie called Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth. A couple episodes ago, I actually interviewed the creator of the Razzies. This was like, it was insane to me.
Oh, that's so cool.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did we get you on a podcast?
I literally just reached out to their like media. It's like media@goldenraspberries.com or something like that. I sent him an email and he was like, yeah, for sure. So we talked about...
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, we were talking about this year's nominees, but I picked his brain about everything. So it was a lot of fun.
That's so cool.
It's funny. The movie that I mentioned it had like a lot of good actors in it too. It had John Travolta, Forrest Whitaker, the guy who played Roger Maris in 61. I don't remember his name, but it had like a lot of like famous people in it. It was just bad, but I loved how bad it was.
He was saying he actually had a story about this because it's based on Scientology and everything like that. The Church of Scientology across the street from the movie theater sent people to watch it. And he was there when they were doing this, and they were laughing, they were clapping, everything like that to try to make the movie sound so much better than it was.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I forgot. The writer of the original book was L. Ron Hubbard, who started Scientology. So did you know that the guy who started Scientology was a sci-fi writer?
Nah, I didn't know that.
Imagine that. Imagine writing a book. You'd be like, I'm going to start a religion. I'm just going to...
Yeah, right, exactly. Just, on the side.
There's a lot of Scientologists out there or whatever. What is it? I don't know what they
I don't know
called,
either.
I don't know.
So let's get right into it.
Let's make it count.
So like we said, we are talking about the Mothman. And for those that don't know even what that is, why are you even listening to this podcast? But if you don't, Mike, why don't you tell us a little about what you know about the Mothman?
So the Mothman has been like an obsession of mine. It's very strange because like cryptids, stuff like that, usually don't get obsessed. I like them, but it's just kind of a fascination, that kind of thing. The Mothman is from the majority of the myth is from Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and even more so, they started in 2002 like a Mothman festival. Which I am going to make one of these days.
I might just go because it sounds cool.
Yeah, it's the third Saturday in September, I think, or third weekend in September.
It's the week of my birthday.
There you go. Yeah, and they usually get like 10 to 12,000 people in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. You were discussing before how it's kind of like Jeepers Creepers. Like that is a great way of putting it.
Yeah, you seen that movie, Blue?
Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you find those?
Of course, you've seen that. You made
something like that.
You made me watch that movie like 4 times.
I actually think that was a really good movie. I really like that movie. Yeah.
Oh, so you have an idea of what the Mothman-like creature is?
Yeah. From that, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, and that's definitely like a good representation. Basically, it's this like 7-foot creature. It's dark. It has some people say a 10-foot wingspan, and the important thing is the red glowing eyes.
Yep. Red glowing eyes.
And red glowing eyes. That's exactly it. So
Yeah, the first one was actually reported on November 15th in 1966.
Mhm.
And they said it was chasing cars at like 100 miles per hour.
right. And like imagine in 1966 the car getting up to 100 miles per hour.
Yeah. No, that is pretty crazy. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm trying to, because you know how you don't know the past. So I'm thinking at times like, oh, what is the max speed at that time was like 60 miles per hour? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah.
60.
Right.
How fast can your car go?
Yeah, and the fact that somebody's driving like 100 miles per hour,
Yeah.
something had to be chasing it.
Yeah.
Even the car was scared. It was like, yo, we got to get the fuck out of here.
And then like after that first one, so like the next day they reported it in the paper, and the name that was come up with was Mothman, because at that time, big on TV and like big in culture was Batman, like the TV show. And so it was based on the killer moth of like DC Comics.
Really? I didn't know that part.
I just found this out this time. Like I've done my research into Mothman several times. I had no clue this is where it came from. So a journalist wrote in the paper calling it Mothman, and it was based on the killer moth of DC Comics.
Yeah, altogether there was like 26 reports, even from like a
Mhm.
firefighter. So it wasn't like just crazy people. Like even a firefighter said that he's seen something large. He's seen like a large bird with red eyes,
Yep.
and that he felt dread. And actually, that's funny because too, UFOs and like static was always like reported around these things too.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there was people saying like their dogs ran away, that kind of stuff. Um, and like these reports stretched as far as Charleston, West Virginia,
I'm
which
sorry,
is
guys.
not close.
All right, so you were saying?
Oh yeah, you're good. So the reports stretched as far as like Charleston, West Virginia, which is not close. So it kind of seemed like it was just picking up too quickly, like it wasn't localized. Um, but as you were saying about the UFOs and everything like that, so the creator of the Mothman Museum in Point Pleasant has gone on the record and said how nobody really knew this at this point, but the Air Force was using the Ohio River to conduct like military maneuvers and stuff because the terrain matched Vietnam.
Okay. Is that
So
like is that does that have to do with the bridge that fell?
it doesn't necessarily have to do with the bridge that fell. It was more so like the strange lights, the UFOs that people were reporting on.
Mm.
That was kind of what they think it was.
So, since I brought it up,
Mhm.
there was on December 15th in 1967,
Mhm.
right after the I guess this was like a year after the sighting started. There was a bridge collapse. The Silver Bridge collapsed, and 46 people died.
Mhm.
And no one saw the Mothman in the area since. So
Right.
that's why they call him a harbinger, because they like, well, he bought it. He was basically like either he did it himself or
Mhm.
he was there because he knew it was going to happen.
Right. And that's definitely what has helped the myth of the Mothman, I think, is because he disappeared after the like right before the collapse and then it collapsed.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I guess you
Mhm.
could argue someone like who, if say if it was a hoax, someone felt bad that a
Mhm.
bunch of people died, and they like, you know what, let's stop the hoax now because I feel bad, a bunch of people died, and I don't want to, you know,
Wait, so
That's very
people
possible.
saw
Yeah.
the Mothman and then a tragedy occurred?
and they stopped seeing him. Like they saw him for a year at this point, and then after the bridge
Mhm.
collapsed, nobody saw him again in the area.
Sorry, so they don't think he died or something?
I don't think I don't think they thought he died. I think that's what kind of worked with the myth was that he was a harbinger of like bad events and stuff like that.
So the bad
So
event came, so he didn't need to be there no more.
Mm.
right.
Next, on to the next one. So he could have been there all year waiting for the bridge to collapse. Like maybe he
Mhm.
does. It's an entity that doesn't have concept of time, so it's just like, oh, I'm gonna be here because I know something's gonna happen. I just don't know
Right.
exactly when, maybe, but he knows it's soon.
Yeah. Okay. Because I thought the way that you guys said it was that he brings the bad event. So you're saying that Mothman likes to witness bad events.
Um,
Or that he's like a foreshadow to bad
yeah,
events. Like he's there to kind of like it's almost a warning kind of
yeah.
thing.
Like if you see me, stay
Oh,
away
okay. I
because
see.
some
I
shit's
see.
gonna happen.
I see. You
Yeah.
see a bird, a butterfly, it's an ancestor. You see a Mothman, tragedy happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But there's definitely like more examples than just this one. This was the big one that kind of like launched the Mothman.
Yeah,
There
and
were
this
other.
hold on. So before we move on, I just want to say that
Yep.
the Mothman has some ties to 1777, something called a cornstalk curse.
Okay.
So at that time there was a Mothman like creature going around. So this kind of sets up like for me like it's a being that doesn't die. Like it just constantly forever through time
Like
goes from place to
Pennywise.
place to place.
Well, Pennywise, I guess, stays in one place, but he keeps coming back.
Yeah,
Every 17 years for Pennywise, something like that.
27 years.
27 years. That's right. That's
and
right.
that's
It's a
pretty
long
cool.
time.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
Let's
you
say
know,
that they
it's a
could
long
even
time.
say that he might be alien and he's only here to see like these events. Like he's
Right.
a time traveler type thing. Like we're like, oh, these are all the like things that you can watch, and maybe
I
that's why.
had
Mm.
I had somebody compare him to like a Doctor Who kind of thing, where he like shows up at a point before an event. There's these fixed points, and they know about it, and he just kind of shows up as maybe a warning to some people, but as also just as an observer.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if you see him observing, don't stay there because some
Yeah,
shit's about to happen.
right.
Yeah.
And you said you were from Chicago. Is that the one you were talking about?
So I am from Chicago. It's not the one I was talking about because I actually did not know that he existed in Chicago until Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix came back.
Oh, I
They
And
love
came
that
back.
show. We love
yeah,
that
and
show.
it's we were watching and they were talking about Mothman. I was like, oh cool, we're talking about like West Virginia Mothman, everything like that. And they brought up May 2017
Yep.
when three witnesses saw described exactly the same. They were at different locations. They described it in a 4-hour period of seeing this Mothman.
Long pause.
I because it's
Wait, so that's the most recent sighting of the Mothman?
That's the most recent was May 2017.
sometime even
And
2020 and above.
So what ended up happening May 2017?
well, so that was the thing I was wondering too. So there was nothing really that happened May 2017, but only 2 months later, there was flooding in a river north of Chicago. And then the 4th of July weekend was the deadliest 4th of July weekend on record. 102 people were shot. And I think it was like 26. I didn't write down the exact number, but I think 26 people died. And so
Man.
those were the things that I was like, okay, it's 2 months later.
But still,
Maybe. Yeah, right,
it's
exactly.
still too
It's only
close.
2 months.
Like he like, oh, I heard something was better going on. Let me get out of here.
I don't know. That's just random events because bad shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Right.
But it's also very weird that these same creatures are being described.
Yeah, that's the weird part.
It's not even the same
yeah.
area, so it's like even like maybe even one person knew of the Mothman, but like who knows how many people actually know of it.
But do these people know each other, or it was like three different people? Like,
So this was three different people in three different locations.
oh,
Like
okay.
these and it was in a 4-hour period. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm talking to my buddy, hey, let's all talk at the same time to the police. These were three witnesses
Yeah.
over a 4-hour period in different locations that said they saw something.
That's crazy. So which one did you actually were talking about then?
Well, I was going to talk about the like we talked about the origin and everything like that, but I found a couple more um instances of the Mothman because those are the two I knew the most was West Virginia and Chicago.
Yeah, they actually call it the Point Pleasant Mothman and the Chicago Mothman.
Yes, exactly.
Don't even give them different names because it was described perfectly alike.
Right. And they were the same thing but just different locations. One of the big ones, this is the there's two that like stick out to me and I have like four more examples, but there's two that really stick out to me. In April 26th, 1986 in Russia, these like workers were talking about the fact that they saw something and they called it the Black Bird of Chernobyl. And this was a month before the Chernobyl explosion.
Hmm. There's
And
that
like it
other
was the workers at the plant and they said they saw something flying over. It was big, long wingspan and glowing red eyes.
Oh, that's actually what they call the almasty. because it's a Russian folklore.
Okay.
It's basically a hairy humanoid creature in the Caucasus Mountains, like Bigfoot, and it's sometimes described as having glowing eyes. It's very elusive, and it's very tied to like remote areas. And it shares like it's. But they're both humanoids. They're both glowing eyes, and they both evoke dread in isolated settings, like you were just saying in Russia right now. So it's probably like the
Right.
same creature, just like
Different
from like
names.
thousands of years, and that's a new sighting.
That kind of
Right.
reminds me of like El Cuco in DR, like Dominican Republic. They'll like
Mhm.
say like, my dad would try to freak me out, saying the Cuco was gonna get me, and he would describe it as having like red eyes. So I wonder if like every culture has like their own version of it.
One that just
Like I gotta
travels
ask him more
around.
questions about that.
Yeah,
actually.
ask him to describe it to you.
Yeah, I'd be like, yo, why the fuck is you trying to scare me with that? Because now you got me into horror stuff. Thank you, Dad.
Well,
I
that's
will-
the thing is like it seems like everybody kind of has their own thing with the glowing red eyes and that kind of thing.
Or like
So
El
it-
Chupacabra or whatever. I feel like that
Right.
one is, I don't know.
There's something known in North Carolina as the frogman. And the frogman, it's a frogman, but it has glowing red eyes as well. Like it's a constant thing, I feel like, in different folklores of the glowing red eyes.
Wow, that
Yeah.
reminds me. Didn't there wasn't there a UFO crash in Brazil, Virginia? Didn't the creature have like red eyes too?
Maybe.
The alien that they found.
It's very
I
possible.
feel like you did describe that.
Yeah, I think it was, but it
Hmm.
wasn't described as a Mothman, but he also had glowing eyes. But maybe because I like to open up speculation to everything. I feel like everything is connected somehow, and you really need to like keep that connection. And this is like one of those creatures, like even like why is it all like you just mentioned in Russia? This isn't what you said, the 70s, 80s.
This was in '86.
Yeah, and then they had Russia has its own creature that dates back, hundreds of years before that too. So it's like eventually there's just way too many of these sightings, and because like you said, there's one that for me there's two that stick out the strongest for me.
Yeah.
So I'll stick to those. Actually, you want to continue with your honesty or your?
Oh, basically, the last thing I had was that workers have since described being wary of like any kind of black bird, and that was the whole thing. Is why it was called the black bird of Chernobyl, was because it was black, it was long wingspan, and then the glowing red eyes. The other big example, because there was a picture of this, it is very far off. It's not an easy picture to see, but August 11th, 2001, it was like hundreds of people had seen at the same time something black with a long wingspan, glowing red eyes fly off of the World Trade Center.
You know what's funny?
What?
Because when you were talking about how the Mothman appears at events, I was thinking,
Mhm.
and in my head, like, what are crazy events that have happened that really impacted everybody? And
Right.
September 11th is one of those events that people who weren't even in New York State felt it. People in different
Exactly.
countries felt that shit. And so
this
I
was a
was like
month
thinking,
before.
like, like, would the Mothman had appeared in September 1st, 2001? Oh, yeah,
Right.
September 11th, 2001?
Yeah.
Like,
How is this creature described?
he's
was-
like tall and dark, and the wings. And when I did a quick Google search, it says that the wings don't flap. Is that true? That he just kind
So-
of glides through the air.
The first first time that they were talking about when it was chasing the cars, they had said that basically his wings barely flapped because he was just able to like catch after them pretty much.
Okay.
I still can't get over this 9/11.
Yeah, I was hoping you were gonna bring us back to that. 'Cause-
'Cause I didn't know. Like I just looked it up, and I don't really see anything. But it says that
Okay.
there's no credible evidence. But they always say that for stuff that you can't prove, and sometimes what you can't prove can still be real. Just because you can't prove it doesn't mean it's not there.
Right.
Prove air
And
right
that's
now. Prove air.
and that's the
exists.
thing, is a lot of people were like reporting it. It was something that people had seen. I'm gonna send you this picture. Again,
Let's
I
send
have
me the
no
picture.
clue.
Oh shit! Because that looks like a picture that I recently looked up from the Mothman in the That shit looks like a dragon. Let's be
Right.
honest. That shit
That
looks
doesn't
like
look
a
like
dragon. All right, let me send you the picture that I was looking up earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
Because this thing looks just like that, and it was from the Mothman of President Plains, I believe.
Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
it's crazy, this photo, because it definitely looks like something. I don't know. It's one of those things. I love the Mothman. I'm obsessed with the Mothman. I don't necessarily know it exists.
maybe let
However, there's so many reports of it in the world that it has to be
Wait, that
something.
looks like his picture.
right. Yeah, so I just showed Blue the picture you sent me. I'm gonna try to put these when we make a tweet. I'll put these two
Yeah.
pictures side by side. All right, so we're gonna take
And
a
that,
quick stop there. We're gonna go to a commercial
You're-
break.
You cut him off.
Well, yeah.
oh no, you're good. No, no, no. All I was just gonna say was it, because like when this was reported in Point Pleasant and everything like that, everybody started going to this TNT plant to look for this thing and kill it, because they're just like, this thing's gonna kill us, so we gotta strike
Oh.
first.
So that's why I kept seeing that they saw the Mothman near the TNT area, and I'm like, what
Mhm.
the hell is a TNT area? I didn't realize they actually make TNT.
Oh.
Yes. So this was made during the Civil War for it was like it produced TNT. Um, it had been abandoned long before, and now this is where they think, oh, an eradicated moth person thing got made here.
Oh wow.
That's crazy. All right, so we're gonna go check in with a quick promo break. So we're gonna
For
hear from
sure.
you, and we'll be right back.
You know what that sound means? It's another episode of Game for a Movie, where we ask, are you game for a movie?
Tell me, Andre.
There's no special features on that goddamn DVD. All right.
Wow.
For Hansel and Gretel?
Hansel and
You
Gretel.
have a
What?
DVD
You watch it?
of
Yeah.
Hansel and Gretel.
She basically has sex with it somehow.
Yeah,
Foreplay.
Yes.
She's chair foreplay.
For those who haven't rated us or liked or given us a review, don't say that we haven't given you anything of value after listening to this podcast. You now know the difference between an R-rated dick and an NC-17 X-rated dick. You're welcome.
Thank you guys for listening to Game for a Movie, where we ask, are you game for a movie? We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Let's make it count.
Ooh, welcome back to the show. As you heard, that is Mike and his buddies from. I always get your
Game
podcast.
for a movie.
I always say
Game
movie for a
movie.
game.
This is why I write things down.
Game for a movie. Thank you, Blue. This is why you should be around more often. Then. So,
I mean,
so we've already talked in the 1960s with the Mothman, dating back to the 1700s in America, even in this. Then we talked up in on Russia that was in the 80s, and a lot of them were actually early 1900s in Russia. This Mothman creature.
Mhm.
I want to see connections, so I looked for them, and we have some still in the States. The Jersey Devil. Do a quick one on that one because it's a modern connection. Because while it does have bat-like wings and glowing eyes, it has a horse face.
Right.
And it's like a kangaroo creature. But if you saw something from a distance, a horse face could look like a beak. Or
Oh,
a beak
definitely.
could look like a
Yeah.
horse face.
I
Yeah.
definitely see a lot of similarities between Mothman and the New Jersey Devil, just in like, they could definitely be confused for each other.
Yeah, like or cousins. Like, oh, that's my cousin,
Yeah.
the devil. Like, yeah, of course that's him. But he was this thing's been haunting Jersey. The Pine. That's actually the New Jersey Devils is named after the Jersey Devil, and
Mhm.
this has been since the 1700s. And the eerie noises and the livestocks were being attacked by something, which sounds like the Skin Ranch thing now. Isn't it weird? Like these stories just keep recycling.
Yeah, right?
So the story actually started from like the 1730s. So we're going through a couple hundred years of this thing. So I wanted to go back a little further, and the one I feel has the second strongest connection on a long scale is something called a banshee. You know what a banshee is?
yeah.
All right. In case you don't know, it's a wailing female spirit from the Irish and Scottish folklore. It's said to be hovering, which could be flying, with wings, with glowing or piercing ears, and they were said to appear before deaths, and they were actually tied to Celtic families. So I see this as a connection because it shares the glowing eyes, the eerie presence, and the harboring a role. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
I
the
definitely
bridge.
get how you get there. I've never actually seen what a banshee looks like. I just pulled it up while we were talking, and I see the glowing eyes, the drape like kind of thing, and the height.
I'll have to take a picture of that too and get it over there. Send that over.
I wonder if like that it is the same thing. I don't know.
Well, that's what kind of my theory is, and now that's when you can hear new theory alert.
New theory alert.
New theory alert!
I love
I'm down
that.
with that. That's great. I love
I-
that. Even better. That's great.
So yeah, like this thing is it's thousands of years. Is it thousands or hundreds? I forget what time period this one is from. But yeah, and it to me, it the Banshee's timeless death omen role supports an eternal entity. Like I was saying, like it's something. And if we really think about it, if we look at a lot of the ancient texts and stories, there was always somebody, the wandering Jew, the survivor of the flood in Mesopotamia. There was always somebody, even with Christianities, and what's his name that killed his brother,
Cain.
Cain.
Cain and Abel.
Yeah, and then the one that Judas too was supposedly punished, never dying. So there are plenty of old school stories talking about creatures that cannot die, and this is not like you want to say religion is weird. I want to say that. I don't want you to say it. I'm going to say it. It's a little weird because we're kind of told that these stories have truth to them, but if they get too weird, it's like no, ignore the weird ones. Only believe in the ones that don't get too weird.
Right, the ones that are realistic and that kind of thing.
And it's like, well, I don't know. If you have these stories for thousands of years, maybe we should stop ignoring them and actually listen to them.
That's the thing, is that there's always stories of seeing something or experiencing something before tragedy, that kind of thing. And I truly believe that there's always something to warn us, whether it be a Mothman or something like that. There's
Premonition,
always
omens, a
there's
feeling.
always the banshee or the that kind of stuff.
So, do you think this is? Because I honestly think the universe is God, and God is universe, and that it created the universe to be able to exist. And I don't know if I completely believe that, but I'm really leaning towards it because it seems the most logical to me.
Right.
So, do you think it's maybe the universe is sending these creatures, but like because they're not from Earth, or they're like from another realm, so they don't look like us. So we get a very like spooked and afraid of them, and we don't want to deal with them, and we just think they're evil because they happen to be there when bad shit happens.
It's very possible, especially with the Silver Bridge collapse, because then everybody took it as, oh, the Mothman did it.
Yeah.
This is what happened. And
I even said it earlier. I'm like, oh, the Mothman could have did this, but
Right.
it was probably more of like a warning or just there to witness it.
right,
Like
exactly.
he's not a gremlin. He didn't like fuck up the bolts on the bridge to make it fall. He just watched
I don't
it fall.
think so. No, and the way it is, I don't think that the Mothman had anything to do with the bridge collapse. It was just kind of there as a precedence.
Yeah. Oh, I just looked down. Did you know that the Chicago Mothman's been around since 2011,
I did not know that one.
and the last sighting they had was 2020. So they actually had like a 9-year reign. I wonder what happened in 2020. COVID. COVID. Oh my God! It didn't want either. It got sick and died, or it just didn't want to deal with it.
Mothman was in the entire 50 states. Like
He was all over the world, which brings me to the next part. It's the most ancient stuff I could find about this is actually to the Hindu religion.
Okay.
Now, or even Buddhism. There's an entity called Garuda, and it's described as a divine winged humanoid with a human face, sharp or glowing eyes, and immense power. He's actually Vishnu's, which is the head god, and he's tied to cosmic events. Again, tied to things that happen, like just like a harbinger. Like he's there when bad shit happens.
Oh, okay. So I've seen this before. I didn't know exactly what you're talking about, but I typed it in, which thank God for spell check. Um, I've seen this before, like the
Now I gotta
statues and
look at
stuff
it.
like that,
Now I want to
and
see it.
definitely very Mothman-like.
Oh hell yeah! Oh
Let me
god
see.
Yeah.
yeah! Yes, this is exactly. You know what's funny is too. This is the creature that they
This comes up
mentioned.
in a lot of things.
Yeah, this is a creature that you will find in South America, like
Yeah,
in
I
their
was gonna say,
ancient,
this is
like by the temples and stuff like that.
I think this is on the Mexican flag. Like this comes up in a lot of flags. Actually, there's a lot of flags that could because the eagle could
Yeah.
an eagle be like similar
No.
representation?
I think the eagle is what we dumb it down to because we have a tendency not to believe crazy shit.
So it could be then.
I think it's more likely that it's like some kind of phoenix or something. That is totally Mothman. All right, I
Oh,
gotta put this
definitely.
picture there too.
Definitely. No, this is definitely Mothman. And like I'm reading, this is the Wikipedia page, so I don't know if this is going to be exactly what it is. But the power to swiftly travel anywhere, ever
Mhm.
vigilant and an enemy of every serpent.
I.e., travel 100 miles per hour chasing down cars. Have
Barely
glowing
flapping your
eyes like
wings.
serpents.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely Mothman. Like
Yeah. See? Show over, everybody. Good night. It's actually funny because in the Mahabharata, which I hope I pronounced that right.
Bless
Actually,
you.
that's probably the best pronunciation I had of any hard word that I had on the show. The Mahabharata, Garuda actually soars to the heavens to steal the nectar of immortality, traversing realms with ease. In the Ramana, he swoops down to save Rama, then vanishes, only to reappear when Vishnu calls. The Garuda Purana cast him as a cosmic traveler, bringing divine and mortal worlds. Never fixed in one place, roams the cosmos, ready for Vishnu's missions, suggesting a sentinel-like presence awaiting divine moments. That sounds even
That
more like the
sounds like-
Mothman. That's exactly
Yes.
what I said earlier, I think, when I first started talking about the Mothman. That
Traveling
is-
different realms and just appearing in different places.
Yeah,
I- I-
with this, I think Mothman is this god
A
because
form of Garuda, yeah.
he keeps changing his place. Up, something bad here. Let me go to Chicago. Okay, Chicago's done. Let me go here. You know, like maybe
Which-
he started off in Europe and Asia because that's where the world was. But like I said, there's ancient tales of these, especially the Garuda. I know it's ancient aliens, but they actually touch on some realistic things,
Yeah.
like statues being similar across the both sides of the world. How can something in South Africa, South America, and Asia have the same shape?
Right.
So I mean, they touch on some lot of cool stuff. But yeah, this thing is I didn't really believe that I was gonna believe this, but I don't know. Maybe this thing is real. Too many people
Well-
seeing it. It can't be just coincidence.
Oh
Yeah.
no, definitely not. And like especially the idea, so I'm just thinking about the fact that when we see something we don't understand, we compare it to something that we know it as. So something like this that we may not have understood, especially somewhere like West Virginia, comparing it to a moth and saying, "Oh yeah, it's Mothman," instead of it's this bird-like creature kind of thing.
Yeah. And then maybe that was done on purpose. There's a lot of speculation that things are done on purpose to keep evidence of likeness separated, so you don't think it's the same thing.
Fair. No, I'm definitely down with that because everything I see about this says, "Oh yeah, this is Mothman is either Garuda as has been, or is a form of."
Yeah, like an offshoot, a cousin.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe even like children. Like maybe I had
Yeah.
some kids before I left. And
Right.
I kind of want to touch on this because we've been touching on multi dimensions.
Mhm.
If it's a cosmic traveler, I think it would stand to reason that it would transverse dimensions too.
hmm
And maybe that's why it never exactly knows where to be. Like it's there for like a year. Sometimes it's there for a couple months. Sometimes sometimes
Right.
it leaves right before. Like it has no power of when it can be here. It's just
Mhm.
summoned, and then it stays here until it completes its mission. Which sounds like this too, because Garuda was actually waiting around. He waits around for Vishnu's missions. So he basically sits around, travels, waiting for his boss to be like, "Hey, go to Chicago, go to South Asia."
this is where you need to go.
So Blue, you were before the show. Do you believe in before the show? Do you believe in any Bigfoot stuff, cryptic stuff like this?
I mean, sure, yeah, but
Like there's no evidence, whatever.
right, yeah, kind of like I'll listen to the stories, but I haven't seen anything myself. So
What do you
I think that I'm gonna walk around kind of with my, looking
Eyes to
more
the
at the
sky.
sky. Yeah, eyes to
Yeah.
the sky. Yeah, definitely. Or when there's something tragic happens, I'm gonna try to see in the background if there's any.
Like everyone
evidence.
take pictures.
Yeah,
Take
or
a
like
picture.
some
right.
fucked up
Good.
shit is happening, you're gonna see me looking around everywhere instead of like
Great.
at the tragedy.
Great. I'm gonna get hit by a car. She's gonna sit there looking at
Yeah,
the sky.
we'll be looking
just
at the
going
sky as it
911.
happens.
Like, bitch, call
Taking a
911.
picture of the monster truck and then realizing, oh, that monster truck's coming towards me.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. This
Crazy.
was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely one of those
it's-
episodes that left me fucked up a little bit.
Yeah, right. It gets you thinking, and I love that feeling because, like I said, I don't know if I necessarily believe in Mothman or not, but I believe enough that people have seen something
Yeah.
and that there's something there.
So then I would have to ask then if let's think about it logically.
Mhm.
Because the story from the Mahabharata comes back
Mhm.
from 300 BCE. So we're talking about 2,000 years of descriptions of things doing the same thing, looking the same way, but
Mhm.
at different times. Are you sure you really say that you don't know if it really exists? Because it's not. I can understand one or two things like people describing, and you happen to describe a UFO. Oh, that's a UFO, and you didn't know what it was. But the majority, for all these people and things and pictures to show the same looking thing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God, I don't know if we could say like it doesn't exist anymore. I think it has to go in there. It exists, but we need evidence of it.
So
That's how I'm gonna put it.
this-
Oh, we should do
Okay.
that. That should be a segment.
What?
Does it
It exists.
exist?
Does it exist? Does it exist?
Let's take it out of the three. Blue. Does it exist or not exist?
The Mothman?
Yes. Or some variation that we talked about. You could say no.
I don't know right
need more
now.
evidence,
I
yes.
need more evidence.
No, that's fair.
I
That's
like
good.
the
I like that.
idea of it, because it's creepy and it could be a warning, like to stay home.
That's a
you
great
know?
way of putting it. I like
But-
the idea of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Until I see it myself, I'm gonna keep being like, well, I believe that you saw it, but I don't know if I
Right.
believe it.
So, Mike, for you, Mothman.
I think I have to believe it. And it's just there's too many people with too many different backgrounds that claim the same thing. I think what I'm saying, like, I don't know if I necessarily believe it. It was more so like I need more proof of it, but I do believe it's something.
Yeah.
Whether it is Mothman or not, I believe in something. And I think it's a Mothman or Garuda or anything like that. Because it's
Banshee.
just too many reports of the same thing. Right.
Unless these, and then part of me is like, did these creatures exist? And that's what we're missing. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know how much I believe about the stuff I actually talk about, but for this one, I'm gonna have to say it's not real for now.
Okay.
So he
Um,
sees it
It's
himself.
not real for
not
now.
not so much for myself. It's like, okay, one thing is like I will try to be open minded about everything, and this includes ghosts and cryptids.
Mhm.
But something with like aliens and UFOs, even with the limited footage and stuff like we have, it's a lot still.
Right.
And comparatively, I've never really seen that convincing video of a ghost. Actually, that's not true. I actually saw one. It was really creepy. It was one on one of those daytime talk shows like Maury or something before he went crazy. And they're showing the video, and somebody's videotaping this old castle, and they look down the castle wall and they see some little girl stick a head from the corner, around the corner.
Mhm.
So like, oh, wait, we're only supposed to be here. Who the hell is that? And they run up to it, and the girl looks back to behind her, and then she looks forward and pulls her head back exactly when he turns the corner, and there's no little girl. And I'm like, the editing must have been really good because there was too much movement. And
There's
that's
too
the
much-
thing.
yeah.
If it stops and then something change, easy. But
Right.
to transition a moving shot, it's not like The Office where they go so fast you can't see anything. They just moving it fast enough where it's like it would be really hard to confusing it. But like I was saying, like there's just not enough information. It seems like there's something there.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's where I definitely stand. I want to believe, so I'm going to believe.
but I also feel at the same time like I don't quite believe.
Mhm.
But like if I
That's-
see
that's
something,
fair.
I don't think I'll be freaked out. Like, oh, well, I guess I should be. I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out.
Yeah,
of
now
here.
you
But-
get out of there.
All right. I think that was a good spot to end it. That's 3. It's not real, but we kind of really want it to be, even though it's kind of scary. Like, why would you want?
Yeah.
What is with us humans and wanting something to be scary, but like happy with it? Like, yeah, be real. We want it to be real.
It's something comforting. How you saying it's like a warning, like
We're
Right.
seeing it as
I
a
think-
good thing.
I think I want to know it's real more so to know what to avoid.
Yeah. Yeah. What if they're time travelers, and that's what future beings look like, and they're just
Right.
like going back and looking at crazy stuff. Like you want to see 9/11? Yeah, let's go to see 9/11.
Yo.
Like it's gonna be like that eventually.
It's true. The billionaires in the future
Yeah.
are the ones paying for these experiences. Yo, that shit's crazy.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up there. Thanks you again, Mike, for showing up and having a very eye-opening. Because I love when people tell me stuff I don't know. Usually, I
Yeah.
tell people stuff and they're like, they don't tell me nothing. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Right.
Oh, you taught me about Garuda, so like it's the feeling is mutual here.
Yeah. Cool.
And then tell everybody once again where they can find you.
You can find us everywhere. Game for a Movie. That's really it's everywhere. X/Twitter/whatever. Instagram, Facebook. We're on Blue Sky. We're on
No,
Threads.
where Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, exactly. Yes. Yeah. We are literally everywhere as Game for a Movie.
And that's been it for this today. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
As always,
As
like
always,
she hasn't done this so long, she forgot all lines. You didn't say
Yeah.
you didn't say what strange and wonderful news told by strange and wonderful people. You
Right.
didn't say what's the other byline that we have? If you heard her, it's history. If you had her, it's his news.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't say
Yeah.
all the points, man.
Well,
I'm not
whatever.
gonna
Anyway.
come at you. I love you. You're the best.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. And as always, please check on your friends, check on yourself, and
Everybody deserves love, especially you.
this has
Goodbye.
been
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part. Go ahead. That was on
What?
me. Go ahead.
okay. This has been a WKMU production signing out.
Bye.
Bye.
Morning Earth, it's time to get up. Bright day ahead, let's make it count. Ooh, feel the light. Ooh, touch the sky. to get up and the day ahead. Let's make it count.
This concludes our broadcast day. Good night, and God bless America.